August 6, 2025, 9:47 a.m., Cadillac General Hospital, Michigan. The sterile hum of the exam room broke as Nurse Clara's fingers froze on Alex Collins' back. A routine checkup for a mole he'd ignored for years was unraveling into something unthinkable. Beneath her touch, the mole wasn't just skin. It was hard, jagged, alive with secrets. This wasn't a cosmetic flaw. It was a key to a past Alex thought he'd buried deep in the jungles of Vietnam. One small choice, to get it checked, cracked open a truth that would shake his world, pulling him and his wife, Maria, into a mystery that had waited decades to surface. What could hide in something as simple as a mole? A scar, so heavy it could rewrite a life? Join us as we uncover a story that'll leave you wondering. What secrets lie beneath your surface? Alex Collins, 68, stepped into Cadillac General Hospital on a crisp Michigan morning, expecting a quick checkup to appease his wife, Maria, a retired mechanic. He lived in a modest home 3 blocks from downtown Cadillac, its walls lined with photos of their kids and grandkids. The mole on his back, a dark, unremarkable speck, was something Maria had nagged about for years. "Just get it checked, Alex," she'd said, her voice soft but insistent as she set out his coffee. He'd shrugged, muttering about overreacting, but booked the appointment to quiet her. Vietnam had left deeper scars, ones no doctor could see. He'd survived firefights, lost friends, and locked it all away. A mole? That was nothing. Or so he thought. Nurse Clara, 29 and sharp-eyed, greeted him with a warm smile, chatting about the autumn chill as she checked his vitals. Her fingers brushed the mole, expecting soft skin. Instead, she felt resistance, hard, unyielding like a stone embedded beneath. "This doesn't feel right," she murmured, her brow creasing. Alex caught the shift in her tone, his gruff voice steady but curious. "What's wrong?" Clara didn't answer immediately, her gloved hands probing the mole's edges. It wasn't just dark. It was dense, almost metallic, nothing like the benign growth she'd seen in training. "We need a biopsy," she said, her voice firm but edged with urgency. Alex raised an eyebrow, half laughing. "It's just a mole, right?" But Clara's focus was locked, her mind racing. This wasn't normal. She prepped her tools, the sterile room growing heavy. As her scalpel made the first incision, it met resistance, a faint scrape that chilled her. "What is this?" she thought, her pulse quickening. She widened the cut, hand steady despite her pounding heart. Something was inside, something that didn't belong. Alex winced, sensing the tension. Clara probed deeper, feeling a cold, jagged edge, not tissue, not bone, but metal. Her breath hitched. "This isn't right," she whispered, barely audible. She grabbed the phone, her voice sharp. "Get Dr. Harrison now." The clock's ticks faded under the weight of uncertainty. Alex's mind flickered to 1971 Vietnam gunfire, a searing pain he'd buried. Was this connected? How? Dr. Harrison, a seasoned surgeon with graying hair, arrived, his face all business. Clara showed him the incision, her voice low. Together, they worked, carefully extracting the object. It wasn't a growth. It was a bullet fragment, small and jagged, glinting under the fluorescent light. "A bullet," Dr. Harrison said, disbelief in his eyes. "Lodged for how long?" Alex's face paled. He knew exactly how long. Vietnam, 1971, a firefight near Da Nang. A bullet had grazed his side, or so the medic said, patched up in the chaos. He was sent back to fight. He'd thought the wound was clean. But this fragment had stayed, hidden under a mole, silent for 54 years. Why now? Where had he carried all this time? Clara sent the fragment for analysis, her hands still trembling. The lab confirmed it was shrapnel, likely a 7.62 millimeters round from Vietnam. The mole had formed over it, masking it as harmless. Alex's mind reeled, memories flooding back, jungle heat, the crack of rifles, friends who didn't make it. He'd built a life with Maria, raised 2 sons, fixed cars until his hands ached. Vietnam was a closed book, but this fragment was a page he couldn't ignore. Clara and Dr. Harrison exchanged glances, sensing this was more than medical. It was a doorway to a past Alex had tried to forget. What else was hiding in him? And why did Maria's worried eyes, when she arrived, seem to hold a secret of their own? Have you ever ignored a small sign, thinking it was nothing, only to find it held a deeper truth? What's hiding in your life, waiting to be uncovered? The jungle was a living beast in 1971. Alex, 24, a Navy SEAL, crouched behind a rotting log near Da Nang, the air thick with smoke and gunfire. His squad was pinned, the enemy closing in. Sweat stung his eyes as he reloaded, heart hammering. A sharp pain tore through his side. A bullet, he thought, grazing him. He dropped, blood soaking his uniform, but there was no time to stop. The combat medic, a wiry kid named Tommy, reached him, staunching the bleeding with a field dressing. "You're good," Collins, Tommy barked, dragging to cover. Alex gritted his teeth, the fight still raging. Stabilized, he was sent to a safe zone, told the wound was minor. No one checked for fragments. Survival trumped precision. He pushed on, bearing the pain, the war, the faces of the fallen. August 7th, 2025, Cadillac, Michigan. Alex sat on the exam table, the bullet fragment glinting in a sterile tray. Dr. Harrison turned it under the light. "This has been in you for decades," he said, voice low. Alex nodded, throat tight. "Vietnam, 71, he said, the word heavy with silence. He'd built a life after the war, married Maria, raised sons, fixed cars in a small garage. The war was locked away, a box he never opened. But this fragment was a key, forcing the lid off. Why had it surfaced now? What did it want from him? Clara, still shaken, sent the fragment to the lab. It was shrapnel, likely from a Soviet-made AK-47, common in Vietnam. The mole had encapsulated it, hiding it for 54 years. Alex's mind raced, replaying the medic's rush work, the chaos of Da Nang. "They patched me up, sent me on," he told Dr. Harrison. Never thought anything stayed behind. But it had metal and memories. He saw his squad again. Tommy, still out there somewhere. Jake, who didn't make it. The screams, the jungle suffocating heat. He'd buried it all to become the man Maria loved, not a soldier haunted by ghosts. Maria arrived, her face tight with worry. She'd known Alex's nightmares, his muttering, his sweat-soaked nights. But a bullet in his body? It shook her. She sat beside him, her hand on his, steady but silent. "I thought I'd left it behind," Alex said, voice cracking. Maria squeezed his hand. "You did your best." But her eyes held something else. A weight, a secret. Alex noticed, a question forming. What wasn't she saying? Had she always known more than she let on? The doctors ordered an MRI to check for other fragments. It showed nothing, but the bullet's presence raised questions. Why no infection? Why now? Clara dug into medical journals, finding rare cases of shrapnel missed in war wounds, encapsulated by tissue. But this felt different, like the fragment had chosen this moment. Alex grappled with the memories it unleashed. He hadn't spoken of Vietnam in decades, not even to Maria. At home, he pulled out an old cigar box, dog tags, a faded photo of his squad, a letter he'd never sent to Jake's family. He'd meant to move on, but the fragment proved the past was still inside him. Maria's silence gnawed at him. That night, as they sat on their porch, the lake breeze cool, he asked, "What aren't you telling me, Maria?" She looked away, her fingers twisting her wedding ring. "It's not just you," she said softly. "I got my own ghosts." Alex's heart sank. What had she carried all these years? And how had they lived together, sharing a bed, a life? Without sharing this, what secrets have you buried, thinking they'd stay hidden? What happens when they demand to be seen? Maria's words hung in the air, heavy as the Michigan dusk. Alex, bandage fresh on his back, stared at her in the hospital room. "I was a combat medic in Vietnam," she said, voice steady but eyes distant. "Stationed in Hue, 71. Alex froze. His wife of 40 years, the woman who'd raised their sons, baked pies for the church, had been in the same war, patching up soldiers under fire, and never told him? "Why keep it secret?" he asked, voice raw. Maria's fingers twisted together. You carried enough pain. I didn't want mine weighing you down. She'd been 22, working in a field hospital. Blood and screams her daily reality. She'd held dying soldiers, memorized their last words, carried their faces through decades. Like Alex, she'd chosen silence, thinking it protected their marriage. But the bullet fragment, glinting in its tray, had shattered that silence. Alex's discovery wasn't just his. It was theirs, a shared scar from a war they both survived. We've both got shrapnel, Maria said, her eyes meeting his. But we don't have to carry it alone anymore. The hospital scheduled a minor surgery to ensure no residual fragments remained. Clara, now invested, assisted Dr. Harrison. The operating room was quiet. The heart monitors beeped steady. As Clara cut, she thought of fragments' weight, not just metal, but years of unspoken pain. The surgery confirmed no other shrapnel, but the real work was emotional. Post-op, Alex and Maria talked like they hadn't in years. He spoke of Anong, the guilt of surviving when Jake didn't. Maria shared her nights in Hugh, the boy she couldn't save, his hand cold in hers. Their words built a bridge, connecting scars they'd hidden. Alex's physical recovery was quick, but the emotional healing was slower. Maria was there, her own truth laid bare. They joined a veteran support group, meeting others who'd buried war's weight. Alex started sketching, jungle scenes, Jake's face, a way to process what words couldn't. Maria wrote letters to families of soldiers she'd lost, finding closure in their replies. The bullet fragment, now in a vial on their mantle, was no longer a secret, but a symbol of facing truth. At the group, they met Tommy, Alex's old medic, now 76, living nearby. You saved me that day, Alex told him. Tommy nodded, eyes wet. We all carried something. A final twist came from Clara. The bullet's composition, American-made, close range, suggested a friendly fire incident, possibly covered up. It matches your story, she told Alex, who'd hinted at a chaotic skirmish. The VA wants to investigate. Alex agreed, hoping it would help others like Tommy. He and Maria planned a trip to Vietnam, joining a veterans reconciliation program. They'd visit Da Nang and Hugh, face their past together. Their home, once a vault for secrets, now hummed with open talk about war, loss, and love. Have you ever carried a truth so heavy it shaped your life? What would it take to set it free, and who would you share it with? Alex and Maria's story proves the past never truly stays buried. A routine checkup uncovered a bullet fragment, but also unearthed decades of hidden scars. Alex is from Da Nang, Maria's from Hugh. Their silence, meant to protect, had built walls. Sharing their truths tore them down. The fragment, a relic of Vietnam, became a key to healing, binding them closer than ever. Now, they're helping others through veterans programs, their story aiding VA investigations into covered-up incidents. Their home, once a place of secrets, is now filled with open words and a vial on the mantle, a reminder of courage. What truths do you carry, locked away? What might happen if you face them? Share your thoughts below, and if this moved you, hit subscribe. Let's keep uncovering the stories that shape us.